All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm Matt Bain, Director of Solutions Architecture at JB&A Distribution. I'm really happy that you're here because we get to talk about a subject that's near and dear to my heart, K through 12 education, and it's important to me because I have kids. So we're going to talk about the Streamed Easy Class Bundle today. Let's get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to put them into the chat window. We'll also have some time at the very end to do a live Q&A session. As you know, a global health crisis just substantially changed our education landscape for the foreseeable future. First and foremost, I want to thank all the educators that are trying to quickly adapt to this emergency situation. For most, it was really a monumental overnight shift in the way they teach students. So it's been amazing to see how quick many have responded to the current situation to make sure that students are not without an education. The crisis, though, has also brought to light quite a few questions about how we effectively reach students when they can't physically be in classrooms together. And how can educators adapt to those student needs? When a student walks into class next year, what will they see? Is it going to be the same as the year that they left prior, or is it going to be drastically different? Teachers, instructors, and professors already know how to reach their students when they're in class. Each student learns a little different, and teachers have honed in on what those differences are and how to cope with them. But as we move into an online or off-premise type of learning situation, how are teachers supposed to know how to reach their students in the way they need to be reached? E-learning has a lot of great things going for it, but it also has quite a few downsides. And one of them is keeping students engaged with the material. That's something that's very hard to do in a two-dimensional environment. The way to keep your viewers or students engaged is to create great looking content. And that's something JB&A knows a lot about. We work with content creators and media companies every day. But how do we take their tool set and adapt it for use by teachers so that they can teach from their home, from a school without students, or in any location that they choose? But we also need to make that easy enough for a teacher to use while instructing. And we need to keep it budget friendly. That's why we put together the Streamed Easy bundles. Most of the JB&A employees here are parents of school-aged children, including myself. And like everyone else, e-learning quickly became part of our everyday routines. And instantly we realized how difficult it was going to be to replicate an in-class experience. In-class experiences are completely immersive, often using all five senses. So how can we do that in a remote situation? As we got forced into this online-only education scenario, it didn't take very long for everyone to realize that schools, many of them, are not set up to provide a rich learning experience in a remote setting. Students are now reliant on only their eyes and their ears. So how can we help make that as engaging as possible? While we've gone from in-person to online learning almost overnight, as the COVID-19 emergency passes, what's education actually going to look like? No one can know for sure. It's going to vary by location. But one thing is certain, educators need to be prepared for completely blended learning situations. It's more than just posting assignments on a web page for student access or doing a class meeting with Zoom. How can we use technology to make education better for students and easier to manage for teachers no matter how the class is being held? The Streamed Easy bundles are very versatile. They can be completely cart-based to move from room to room, installed in dedicated communications or active learning rooms, in the classroom, and even in an instructor's own home. Before we get too far into the details of the Streamed Easy bundle, we should probably understand what students are experiencing now. So I'm going to bring on a couple guests to help us with that. All right, today we're going to be joined by a couple very, very special guests. They are two experts in e-learning, my sons, Desi and Keegan. Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey. Good, how about you?
Good. Tell everyone your age and what grade you're going into.
Should I go first?
Sure, go ahead.
I'm Keegan. I'm 12. I'm going in the 7th grade.
Perfect. Desi?
I'm Desi. I'm 11 and I'm going into 6th grade.
Awesome. So the both of you did e-learning this year, well, at least for the last few months of school. How did you like it, Desi?
Well, I kind of had mixed feelings because in the beginning, I was still getting used to it. And then to me, the instructions weren't very clear. But around the end, they made it a little easier and started explaining it more to me. And it became easier.
Okay. And Keegan, what about you?
I did not like it. I liked school more because they jumped into it and we all didn't feel easy with it. Like, it was kind of an uneasy feeling because they weren't like straightforward with what they did and what they said. Like, sometimes they'd do a Zoom meeting at one time and then they cancel it right before we were about to get on, or they would put us in a different class with a teacher we didn't even know.
Oh, wow. So you did Zoom meetings too, Keegan?
Yes,
How many days a week did you do that?
we did it like twice a week.
And did it look kind of like this?
Yes, exactly like this.
Really? Did your teacher do anything like bring up a whiteboard or show you a book that you were supposed to read or anything like
No,
that?
she just talked to us.
It was just a talking thing just like this?
Yeah.
Huh. What about you, Desi? Did you guys use Zoom? Desi? We can't hear you if
You
you
didn't
do.
have to.
Hey, Desi. Sorry, we lost you for a second. I bet, did that ever happen in class where somebody would just go missing or your teacher would stop talking?
No,
No? Well, that's good.
no. Yeah.
Okay, so Desi, did you guys use Zoom in class?
Yes, but you didn't have to be there. It wasn't like required.
Okay, but did you join any of them?
I didn't like to be honest.
Did you move your camera around as much when you were on your Zoom meetings in class?
No.
Just for me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if you did join Zoom meetings, did they kind of look like this, or did your teacher do anything special for them?
She didn't do anything special.
Was it just like her at her house?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just looked like this?
Yeah.
Was it really interesting, or was it kind of boring?
It was really boring.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys. You guys are both experts. I'm going to take everything that you just told me about how it could be boring, how it was confusing, and I'm going to show people how they can do better. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
So as you can see, my boys definitely have their own opinions about e-learning and what they were forced to do because of COVID this year. You know, one of the things that is a central theme around e-learning that I hear pretty much from every parent and every student is that it's confusing and the directions were not clearly laid out. The workflow of the process was not well documented. It was difficult to do, and that was definitely felt by the children as well. So not only was it confusing, but they also found that any of their web meetings were actually boring, had really low quality, and if you watch the camera work from my son Desi, it could be very distracting, especially with a lot of students involved. So that's what we really want to fix. This is why we built the Streamed Easy bundles, to enhance learning. When building these bundles, we really had two main considerations. It needs to be easy to use for instructors, and the content needs to keep students engaged. I think we've done that and more. The interesting thing is many of the issues faced by schools are extremely similar to our customers in the media and entertainment and the broadcast industries. As schools move further into blended learning environments, workflow becomes increasingly important. Our years of experience in these areas have really put us in a position to help schools define and enhance their digital workflows. That's why we've put together multiple Streamed Easy bundles that include all of the requested features to enhance a school's education capabilities. Beyond just the technology, though, we've also done the integration and the testing in-house to ensure all of our deployments are as quick and easy as possible. To create an enhanced learning solution, we have to start with the ability to create great-looking content, and that really starts with cameras. We have bundles that include everything from document cameras to BTZs to box cameras, all the way up to broadcast cameras for larger events. Switching allows for multiple sources to be used, like multiple cameras, computers, document cameras, digital whiteboards, and even more. Processing is included in each bundle, and that gives schools the ability to not only utilize all of the feeds and sources, but also process them for different delivery methods, and an integration into other applications like Zoom and Google. Multi-streaming capabilities to reach students on whatever device they choose, and recording to make classes available as video on demand content, or even to repurpose for other classes. We even include stunning displays. I think most importantly though, we include setup and training options to make it a fast and easy deployment. Schools have a lot of choice in terms of what tools they use. The market's flooded with them, but how do you make the right choice? It really comes down to your objectives. And we've put together multiple bundles that address different needs. This means no matter what your school is trying to accomplish with your content, we can make it easier. Most importantly for many schools, though, is our integrations into LMS systems. If your school already has an LMS, we can tie everything together in a defined, seamless workflow to make it even easier to use. It's not just software platforms, though, that we integrate with. We can also utilize other technologies that your school already has, like computers, interactive whiteboards, projectors, 3D printers, and more. All the features are great, but they don't mean anything if an instructor can't easily use them. Let's take a look at what it's like to actually create a class. For today's example, I'm going to be using Google Classroom. We can integrate with whatever system your school is using. Google Classroom seems to be pretty widely adopted, so that's going to be my example for today. Now, every school has their own workflow. I am just going to give you an example of how it's easily created in Google Classroom. The first thing I'm going to do is hit the plus button and create a class. That's going to take me into an information page where I can start loading in information that's accessible for my students. Now I just need to fill in the information as Google is prompting me. I'm going to create my class. It's going to be for my music history class, section 100. The subject today is going to be the phonograph, and the room is Bain. Now that I've created a class, my next step is I want to create an assignment for my students. So I'm going to title this assignment Music Science, and I'm also going to include a note that my class needs to make sure that they attend class today, because we're going to be doing class via Zoom. So I've let them know here in their assignment that they can find the link in their calendar. I'm also letting them know that I will be posting an assignment after. Now that I have my class created, I definitely want my students to attend the class, so I'm dropping that into the Google Calendar. Now, I could integrate this into other calendar systems. I don't have to use Zoom. I could also use the Google conferencing system. In my instance, I'm going to use Zoom, so I have just created a calendar invite, and in that invite contains my Zoom meeting information. That way my students will be able to get to it easily. If you notice, when I created the assignment for today, I also included an instruction for them to go onto their calendar to check out the Zoom meeting. All right, I have everything set. Now you can see my music science class assignment here in my dashboard. I'll be able to check on my students' progress from here. All right, my class is all set up. I have an assignment ready to go. And all I need to do now is start my Zoom session. That can sound complicated, but it's extremely easy. All I have to do is start my Zoom session like normal, and you will see once you select your camera settings, I can select any of the multiple sources that I have available to me. In this case, the Streamed Easy bundle is coming into my system via NDI, so I am going to select NDI video. That's it. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for my students. But I definitely want to take you through a few more of the features and how you actually operate the system while you're instructing. All right, welcome to my virtual classroom. It's actually sitting in my office in my house. I'm utilizing the Streamed Easy bundle, so that means I have two different cameras, including a PTZ camera, and this is what you can see. The interface that you're seeing right here is actually something that you don't even have to use. We get everything set up for you, and you'll never have to use this. It's as easy as pushing a button. although you can always jump into this interface if you'd like to, and you can start to customize things. So let me take you on a quick little tour. You'll see that I have my sources coming in, everything plugged right in. I'm also grabbing things off of the network, and you will see what's going out to my students on the right-hand side in the big window. If I want to change what students are seeing, it's super easy. I just have a button that I easily press, and it's going to change what that camera source is. So now you can see my whiteboard. I'm going to teach a lesson to my students on the phonograph today. I could jump down and actually see a record player that I have. I'm capturing that with my document camera. And then I'm also pulling a source from the network, which is a computer. So those are my 4 sources. Super easy to jump back and forth between them. I don't always have to do a singular source. I can also add pictures in pictures. I could make multiple layouts here. I could do a picture in picture like this, or a side by side. You'll also notice that I have some graphics that I could add. The graphics are really easy to add. I could bring in my own, or I could select ones. You can see here that I could change this background really easily. If I have specific ones that I want to add, super easy to do that. I can also add overlays and graphics. Very easy to do. So all of this is just at the push of a button that the instructor has access to. It makes things super simple. You don't need to be a very technical person at all to do this. Just give you a couple easy buttons, and that's all you need. So that's how easy it is for an instructor to utilize the Streamed Easy Bundle. Everything that you've seen here today has been created with just my laptop and a Streamed Easy Bundle from JB&A. It gives you everything that you need to create an engaging student experience while keeping it simple and easy for the instructor to use. As I mentioned before, creating great content starts with having great cameras. The Streamed Easy Class Bundle includes a 20x 1080p document camera with a built-in microphone and a whole bunch of other options to get close-up shots of documents and other physical items. We also include 2 PTZ cameras to capture the instructor and anything else in the class. We often see it used to capture a whiteboard or a wide shot to get the entire class. You can even use it in a remote location. Our bundle gives you the ability to capture great-looking content from the very start. If you need more or different types of cameras, don't worry. All of our bundles include great upgrade options. Once you have cameras, how do you select which cameras to actually show? That's the job of the video switcher. The Streamed Easy Bundle includes a 4 simultaneous channel switcher with titles, graphic overlays, picture-in-picture functionality, backgrounds, and more. You can even bring in pre-recorded videos and other content into your class. If you need even more, we can scale to larger switchers that will offer more functionality and flexibility. The switcher also acts as an audio and video processor. It allows you to utilize sources of all types. NDI sources so you can easily use an IP network, local HDMI sources, RTSP streams, and multiple channels of audio. This provides you seamless mixing and switching. Properly recording your content is a big deal. It allows you to post classes as on-demand assets for students to use at a later date or time. It also enables you to reuse your content for future classes or programs. Streamed Easy takes it further with 5 total channels of record. This means your video sources can be recorded independently, giving you more options to reutilize your class material. The functionality can even be scheduled and integrated into your calendars for an even easier workflow. You can even add stunning 98-inch 4K displays to your bundle for in-room use. It will help make your class more immersive and bridge the experience gap in a blended learning environment. We even have touch-capable options as well. The features we've covered so far are great, but it's also important to realize that not all students have equal access to technology. Because of this, your choice in streaming technologies is even more important. Students must have a few things to enable remote learning, and those can be a big ask. A student needs network connectivity, a device like a Chromebook or a mobile phone. They also need to have the ability to join a class at a certain time. The Streamed Easy bundles try to minimize these issues. Multi-stream capability means you can deliver content to multiple places at the same time. This can help alleviate connectivity issues to certain sites or students not even having access to them. You can get your content to multiple locations so students can access what is available to them and their device. All right, I've given you a high-level overview of how to operate the StreamEasy bundles and all the great features that it has, but we should definitely check out what it's like for a student to attend a class that utilizes StreamEasy. So with that, let's go back to my studio. All right, welcome back to my office / closet / virtual classroom for today. I'm gonna bring my boys back, Keegan and Desi. Hey boys, how are you?
Hey, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
All right, earlier you told me about the boring experience that you have doing Zoom meetings, and I want to show everybody what it's like to actually have an immersive experience. And it's really easy to do that with the StreamEasy bundles. So today we're going to learn about the phonograph. And to show you that, I'm going to change my source right over here to my whiteboard. As you can see, the phonograph, it actually translates to sound writing. And what that is it's Latin. That's 2 words, phono and graph. It was invented in 1877 by Thomas Edison. Make sure you remember that. And if I show you what it's actually going to look like, a phonograph, I know you guys know exactly what they look like. But here is a phonograph. And what happens is it spins around, a little needle comes on top, and it actually goes through grooves and bumps on that record that reproduce sound. I can also show you a picture of them here. So there is a picture of Thomas Edison that actually is coming off of my computer. And if I wanted, I could actually do a side-by-side. So here's what my class could look like. And your teacher could actually take you through an entire lesson and actually teach you like they do in class. So we're not just putting files up in Google Class or putting files up on a shared site. We can actually teach class in an immersive manner, just like we do in a normal classroom setting. How does that sound?
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for both helping me with this. I'll let you get back to your summer vacation, okay? Talk to you guys later.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
All right, I've taken you through the StreamEasy class bundle today. I've shown you how an instructor can use it, all of the cool features that it has, and how it's seen by students. It's really an amazing experience. But all of this great technology really isn't the whole story. Having great technology means nothing if it isn't properly set up and if the users don't actually know how to use it. This is why we've included 1 hour of free remote setup and training. Additional training is also available. We want to make sure that you get up and running as smoothly and easily as possible. I've given you an overview today of the StreamEasy class bundle. If you need more functionality, it definitely comes with a lot more that I couldn't show you today. We also have plenty of upgrade options. So if you need more from your system, like green screens or virtual sets, we can do that as well. Really, whatever you need to do with your content in your school, JB&A can help you. That brings us to the end of today's presentation. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to discuss your particular needs or have any further questions, feel free to reach out to the sales team at sales@jbna.com. You can also check out the streamedeasy.com website for all of the bundle packages and more information. Now let's move into the Q&A. All right, if you have questions, feel free to submit them into the chat window, and I will get to them as they come in. All right, thank you so much, everyone. I hope that gave you an idea of the StreamEasy bundles. We start with the StreamEasy class bundle, and we can definitely go from there. If you have any questions, this is a great time to go ahead and enter them into the chat window. You can also send me actually questions in the question window. That way we can get all the answers to everyone and help as much as we can while we have each other together. So I will be monitoring the chat. If there's anything that you need, please send it in, and I'll be happy to answer for it. One thing actually that I will point out is, and Laura, I believe, put it in the chat window for everyone, we do have 4 downloads in the handout section of the GoToWebinar control panel. Feel free to grab those. Easy to download. They have great information as well. They're on our StreamEasy website. There was a question about if this is being recorded. Yes, it's definitely being recorded. We will put it up on the streamedeasy.com website at the conclusion of the event. Does Stream Easy work with Chromebooks? Yes, it does, and it kind of is going to depend on how you want to do that. If the child is watching on a Chromebook, yes, definitely, that's fine. We definitely have other ways to work with Chromebooks as well. It's just, is a Chromebook going to be a source or a destination? We can help you figure that out, but working with Chromebooks isn't an issue. Yes, if it's a source, we have several ways that we can bring a Chromebook in. Not an issue. There's quite a few ways we can get pretty much everything done with the Stream Easy bundles. Yeah, and that question was, will it work with Chromebooks as a source for the teachers? Yes, it definitely can. And we can go through a few ways to do that, but it's really about what type of functionality they want, how we can configure the system. But yes, it will support a Chromebook. So a question just came in if this could be presented to private schools as well, or just K through 12. Just so you know, I'm doing a whole webinar series specifically around education. Today's was K through 12. We're also going to be doing higher education and private schools / technical schools. So we'll have 2 more webinars directly around education. If the private schools need a different messaging, I'm happy to do that as well. But yes, this can work in all types of situations. The more I've talked about what this does to different schools, more and more people are interested in how they can use this, especially with what's going on around the world with remote learning. So yes, we can present this to any type of school that you need. Next question was, is there a limit on number of students? It depends. So it depends on what your backbone is going to be. If you're going to use something like Zoom, which many schools are doing, and that's why I chose to use it for this call today, is most schools that I've talked to are using Zoom. And so we act as an input into Zoom. In that instance, Zoom is kind of your limiting factor. So it depends on what your plan is with Zoom, which is how many students you'll be able to reach. Now that's only on a video conferencing scenario. If you're going out to a live stream, maybe putting it in a website, no, there's no limitation. We just need to figure out kind of who you're trying to reach, and we can set up the system appropriately. Same answer. Perhaps if there's a limit to the number of students in one class, no, theoretically not. It just really depends on what your backbone is going to be. So if you are a school that's decided we're using Google Class to do all of our streaming, or we're using Zoom, or we're using GoToMeeting, each one of those has some particulars, and we can work around and help to augment them. So if you do have barriers, we can help you get around them. I'll wait around. If there's any other questions, feel free to send them in. Like I said, we're going to be posting this video up in our website. We will also have all of the handouts that are included here, but while you're here, I definitely suggest downloading them while you can. Another question was, can you capture annotations from existing interactive whiteboards? Yes, we can. So we can interact with whiteboards, really a whole host of other pieces of hardware that a classroom might have. We can bring them in as sources, and we can utilize them in many different ways. We're also working on being able to control them. So we can give a teacher a very, very simple way to control kind of everything that they might need to present an engaging classroom instead of just a video conference that most people are using today. All right, if there's any other questions, feel free to drop them in. I'll wait just another minute or two if they seem to have died out, but we're happy to help you in any way that we can. Reach out to your JB&A team. You can find all the information that you want at streamedeasy.com. And actually, one more question. Is there a way to facilitate group work discussions for kids that are out of school and send those out to students who have to work from home? In other words, a way to include them in the classroom. This is an excellent question. And to me, as kind of a video guy, this is workflow. This is something that we help with every single day, which is how do people interact with these systems and how do they use them for the best benefit? Yes, we can definitely help document workflows for both teachers, administrators, and students, and really define what that process is so that it clears up a lot of confusion. The biggest thing that I saw as a parent in the last few months is confusion around the process. Students didn't know how to log in, or they didn't know what to do once they logged in. So we can help define that process for you, and it will make it much more smooth going through your daily classes. Probably the best question that I've seen yet, although I'm not sure how to take this, it was, are you still in your closet? Yes, I am. I can give you a show of what it actually looks like behind me, but it's not pretty. You will see just me and my green screen. So here's what my actual office looks like. This is what I'm talking to you through. Behind there, I have my my shoes. So yeah, this is my office / closet. I'm definitely working from here. It's pretty easy for me to actually change what this looks like so I can give a much more engaging look. And all I have to do is hit a button and it goes back to my green screened image that I've set up. So yes, William, I am still in the closet. All right, everyone, if we've devolved into my closet questions, I think we're at the end of today's webinar. Thank you all for joining. As I mentioned, we're going to have more for different type of institutions. So we're going to have higher ed next, and then we're going to follow that with technical education. So I'd love for you to join if you need to. If you have any questions, send them over to us. We'd be happy to help. Thank you all so much for joining. I'll talk to you soon.